This is Pratap, your English teacher. In this class, we will discuss verbs. Okay? Verbs. What are verbs? Action words. Okay? Let us discuss action words or verbs. Verbs. How many verbs are there? Let us see. There are four types of verbs in English. V1, V2, V3 and V4. Four types of verbs. This video is very important in spoken English as well as in grammar, because most of the people speak wrong sentences because of not knowing where to use V1, V2, V3 and V4. Okay, so there are some names for V1, V2, V3 and V4. What is another name for V1? Present form of verb is called V1. What is another name for V2? Past or past form of verb. V3? Past participle is another name for V3. V4. Present participle is another name for V4. V4, present participle, both are same. V3, past participle, both are same. V2, past form of verb, both are same. V1, present form of verb, both are same. Okay? Let us see. There are two types of verbs in English. Number one is regular verbs. Number two is irregular verbs. Regular verbs, irregular verbs. What are regular verbs? Let us see. Complete, completed, completed. We'll discuss this later. Complete, completed, completed. Okay? Work, worked, worked. One more example. Study, studied, studied. Okay? What is the common thing that you observed in these verb forms? See here. The past form and the past participle forms are having dr, ed added to their V1 form. Understood? Such type of verbs are called regular verbs. Regular verbs means we modify V1 to V2 and V3 just by adding D or ED. Okay? Just by adding D or ED. Such type of verbs are regular verbs. What about irregular verbs? Just quite opposite. We cannot make the verb form 1 as verb form 2 and verb form 3 adding ed or d. We cannot make them. For example, drink, drank, drunk. Okay? Eat, ate, eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. See, I did not add d or ed to V2 and V3 forms. Did you observe that? So such type of verbs are called irregular verbs. Means we cannot make them into V2 and V3 by adding d or ed as in regular verbs. Understood? So this particular category is regular verbs and this particular category is irregular verbs. Okay? In 8th class and 9th class English textbook, the last page has number of irregular verbs. Okay? There is a big list of irregular verbs in the last page of your English textbook of class 8 and class 9. So once have a look at that verb form so that you will know where to use what type of verbs. Begin, began, begun, begin, began, begun means to start. Okay? See here, this one is also irregular verb. Means I did not add here d or ed. Right? So this category is irregular verbs category. Understood? There are 4 types of verbs: V1, V2, V3 and V4. We'll discuss V4, what is V4 right now. If you just add ing form to its V1 form, it will become V4. That is called present participle. For example, complete, completing, work, working, study, study, drink, drinking, eat, eating, begin, beginning. It's very easy. Last one is present participle. If you just add ing to V1, it becomes V4. Understood? That's why I discussed V4 at the end of this class. Understood? So there are 4 types of verbs. Okay? Mainly verbs are divided into 2 categories. Number 1, regular, and number 2, irregular. These both regular and irregular verbs are divided into 4 categories: V1, V2, V3 and V4. And these are the names of these V1, V2, V3 and V4. Right? And the first set is regular verbs and the second set is irregular verbs. What is regular verb? When we add d or ed to its V1 form, it becomes V2 and V3. Such type of category, okay, is called regular verbs. We cannot make the V1 forms into V2 and V3 just by adding d or ed. Such type of verbs are called irregular verbs. Means V1 is completely different, V2 is completely different, V3 is completely different. So these are the 2 types of verbs: regular, irregular. V1, V2, V3 and V4. If you use the verb correctly, definitely your sentence will show effort. Means if you want to speak correct sentences, you should use correct verb. Okay? We discuss where to use V1, V2, V3 and V4 in tenses classes. Okay? Tenses class is a big class, very important and very easy topic. Okay? In that class, we discuss where to use V1, V2, V3 and V4. So definitely you don't use wrong sentences after tenses class. So before that, you have to become strong in these cases. That's why I'm discussing verbs before discussing tenses topic. Okay? So learn this. Have a look at the list of the verbs if you have at the back of the textbook. I hope you understood this video. Thank you for watching.